All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're writing software today, you already know the landscape is shifting at absolute lightning speed. Artificial intelligence has fundamentally changed how we build applications, right? But honestly, it's also introduced a massive hidden risk, the degradation of our own problem-solving skills. Today, we are going to break down exactly how you can effectively leverage AI for coding without letting your own engineering abilities stagnate, because we want to stay sharp, stay relevant, and really master this entirely new paradigm of development.
Let's kick things off with a bit of a dream scenario, the ultimate goal of becoming a quote-unquote loop engineer. Imagine this. You write a simple loop that asks an AI to build a feature for you. Then, you take a second AI, tell it to act as an engineering supervisor with a decade of experience, and have it review the first AI's code. The first one writes, the supervisor reviews, tells it what to fix, and ideally, this entire autonomous factory just hums along on a schedule overnight while you sleep. You wake up, chat with your AI manager, and never even look at a single line of code. Sounds amazing, right? But let's ground ourselves back in reality for a second. If you're tuning into this explainer, you're likely someone who actually wants to get good at programming. And the cold, hard truth is that utilizing the most abstracted, hands-off 10-agent coding factory is absolutely not how you develop genuine skill. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for how we're going to upgrade our approach from basic, beginner-level prompting to advanced engineering philosophy. First up, we'll examine the loop engineer trap, then identifying your coding mode. Third, we'll look at a really tactical fix called the reverse AI method. Fourth, building a code brain. And finally, cultivating taste. Starting with section 1, the loop engineer trap. We really have to acknowledge how tempting it is to just let AI do absolutely everything for you. There is a super delicate balance to strike here. Think of it this way. If you're still opening up an LLM and prompting it one mundane request at a time, almost like a caveman, you definitely risk getting left behind. You aren't utilizing the incredible leverage available to you. But swinging wildly to the opposite extreme of total automation, that literally kills your learning process. If you abstract everything away, you strip away your ability to actually learn the craft. You stop exercising those critical thinking muscles required to architect complex systems, and you basically become a passive bystander in your own project, and nobody wants that.
So how do we actually find that sweet spot? That brings us to section 2, identifying your coding mode.
Before your fingers even touch the keyboard, you need to know exactly what mindset you're operating in. Every time you sit down to build something, you're in one of two distinct modes. On the left, we've got ship mode. Your goal here is incredibly pragmatic. Just make the thing exist. You don't really care how it gets done, you just need it deployed and functional, fast. On the right, we have learning mode. Here, the entire point of the exercise is that you come out the other side a better engineer than you went in. The process matters way more than the raw output. And I want to be super clear here. Both of these modes are completely fine. The secret to success is just being completely honest with yourself about which one you're currently in. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens when you blur the lines between those two modes. You fall into what we call shit mode. This is the great trap of the AI coding era. It happens when you trick yourself into thinking you're in learning mode, but in reality, you just had the AI write the entire script, you lightly skimmed it, watched it execute successfully, felt incredibly productive, and ultimately learned absolutely nothing. The absolute easiest, foolproof way to catch yourself slipping into this fake learning zone is a simple test. Ask yourself, if the AI hands you a block of code right now, could you immediately sit down and rebuild it entirely on your own from scratch? If the answer is no, you didn't learn it. You just shipped it. If you're tired of falling into that trap, let's fix it. Section 3, the reverse AI method. This is a highly tactical way to break out of those bad habits. Walk through this actionable checklist with me. Step 1. Write the code yourself. Use the official docs. Read through Stack Overflow, watch tutorials, whatever works for you, just as long as you are not copying and pasting AI-generated code. Step 2. Get stuck. Seriously, actually allow yourself to struggle with the syntax and the logic for a bit. Step 3. Bring your broken, flawed code to the AI and ask it why your approach failed. Guys, this is a massive paradigm shift. Asking AI to explain the underlying why behind an error, rather than asking it to just do the work for you, is without a doubt the healthiest possible way to use these tools for genuine learning. It's a total game changer. Now let's see how this builds when you transition to managing larger, accelerated projects. Section 4, building a code brain. Once you start heavily using AI to accelerate a codebase you already know, you will inevitably run into this deeply frustrating question.
Why is my AI-assisted project a scattered mess? You've almost certainly experienced this anxiety. You jump between different AI models, you spin up separate conversation threads for different features, and suddenly the whole project just fragments. Because the AI doesn't have the context of your entire application, it won't stop and ask clarifying questions. It just fills in the blanks with whatever seems reasonable at the time. It invents functions you already wrote, it creates a mountain of duplicated logic, or sometimes, and this is the worst, it bizarrely just deletes parts of your code for absolutely no reason. It's an absolute nightmare. So, to prevent this total chaos, you need to establish a central context document. This is your code brain. Whether you use a dedicated app like Obsidian or honestly just a simple markdown file sitting right there in your project root, this document becomes the ultimate source of truth. It dictates exactly what you're building and why. It maps out your structural architecture, explicitly logs all your major engineering decisions alongside the reasoning behind them, and it tracks your current working focus. By establishing this, every time you start a new AI conversation, you feed it this brain document first. Suddenly, the AI stops guessing and actually understands the environment it's operating in. But there is a strict, non-negotiable rule here. Take 5 minutes to manually update the document yourself after every single architectural call or completed feature. Never, ever let the AI do the updating for you. So the crucial point is, writing it down yourself forces you to honestly evaluate if you actually understand your own code. The exact moment you struggled to articulate why you made a specific design decision in that document is the exact moment you realize you either didn't have a good reason for it in the first place or you've completely lost the thread of your own application. Maintaining this brain manually keeps your AI grounded for sure, but more importantly, it keeps you honest. Which brings us to our final boss topic, elevating this whole explainer to high-level engineering philosophy. Section 5. Cultivating taste. Everything we've discussed so far has really been about making sure you remain the one who's doing the thinking. But beneath all of that lies a much deeper question. What are you actually bringing to the table when an AI can write virtually any function you describe? Well, look at this quote. Taste is being able to realize when code is actually good or not because you've seen enough of it that you can just kind of feel when something's off. Taste is the great unautomatable skill. You literally cannot get it from an AI, and you can't get it by passively consuming content. It is that invisible intuition that forms the entire foundation of your value as a modern software engineer. Now, since building taste purely through writing code takes years and years, you have to actively accelerate the process. Step 1. Read strict, high-quality open-source repositories. Think codebases like VS Code or TypeScript. Step 2. Read rejected pull requests. This one is absolutely crucial because a rejected pull request is perfectly working code that a senior maintainer still looked at and said, no. They said no, and then they explained exactly why. Internalizing that why is the fastest way to build your own taste. Step 3, read foundational engineering books. And step 4, constantly build your own projects and critically review your own work against those high standards. Speaking of foundational reading, there are 2 essential books you absolutely need for cultivating your taste. First up is The Pragmatic Programmer, which is fundamentally way less about exactly what syntax to type and entirely about how to actually think like a professional engineer. The second is A Philosophy of Software Design, which is just a masterclass entirely focused on managing complexity and understanding what genuinely makes one system design deeper and better than another. Pairing the wisdom in these books with the daily habit of reading code from people way wiser than you, that's going to rapidly level up your engineering intuition. So, I want to conclude with this provocative final thought. If AI can write absolutely any function you describe, how will you know if it's actually any good? The hard truth of the AI era is that these tools don't eliminate the need for incredible engineers. Honestly, they require them more than ever. You have to reclaim your cognitive load. Recognize that developing your own impeccable taste is the true value you bring to any team or project. Stop letting the tools do the thinking for you, embrace the struggle of learning, and start building that deep engineering intuition that no machine can ever replicate. Keep building, keep learning, and above all else, trust your taste.